team, and we had a hot day out there today. High temperatures made it up to 94 degrees. It felt a little hotter thanks to the humidity. And if you thought today was hot, just wait until tomorrow, because it is going to be even hotter. And we have an 11 Alive weather impact alert for heat for not only Tuesday, but also for Wednesday. We issued this alert last Friday to give you plenty of advance notice about this really hot air that we're going to be experiencing here for Tuesday as well as on Wednesday. And now the National Weather Service has also issued a heat advisory that's in effect for most of us here in North Georgia, beginning tomorrow and through about 8 o'clock on Wednesday, as all this hot air is going to continue to move our way. So again, the 11 Alive weather impact alert is for Tuesday and also on Wednesday. The main reason is because, number one, the temperatures are going to be hot. We're going to get up to around 99 degrees here for your Tuesday afternoon. That would tie a record. And add in the humidity, and it's going to feel even hotter. We'll feel anywhere from around 103 to maybe 107 in spots due to that heat and humidity, really making your body work a little bit harder to cool itself down, to produce sweat, and then that sweat evaporates to cool itself down. But when it's humid, it doesn't evaporate as efficiently, so your body tries to produce more and more sweat, and then you can get dehydrated unless you hydrate and drink plenty of water to replenish that water that you could be losing through sweat. Also, limit your time outdoors. Take breaks. Plan on finding a cool spot to go with air conditioning, or getting a pool or a lake or something to help cool yourself off, because it is going to be a really hot day here both days, on Tuesday and also on Wednesday. Here's a look at all the heat advisories. Really, a big part of the eastern half of the country pretty much is going to be under some sort of heat advisory, or even an extreme heat warning. What you see here in yellow is, or not yellow, but that orange color is more of where we have the heat advisory. But where you see the pinkish colors here, up around St. Louis, also up near Chicago, the northern parts of Indiana, parts of Ohio, parts of West Virginia, over into North Carolina, as well as Virginia, the Mid-Atlantic region going up toward New York, the New England area, they have extreme heat warnings in effect, with really hot air that they're going to be dealing with as well. Here in our area, it is a heat advisory, and it covers just about all of us, Metro Atlanta, North Georgia, and areas down to the south. The only areas it does not cover is here in Northeast Georgia, where in the mountains and those higher elevations, we don't expect the heat index levels to be at 105 or higher. And that is the kind of the benchmark for a heat advisory. So those counties are not included, as the temperatures there will be below advisory criteria, but the rest of us will be in that heat advisory through about 8 o'clock on Wednesday evening. Now, we mentioned the heat there, with a high tomorrow getting up to around 99 degrees. The record for tomorrow's date is also 99, so we could tie a record. That was set in 1988. The average for this time of year is 88 degrees, so we're going to be about 11 degrees above the average. And again, factor in the humidity, and it's going to be feeling even hotter out there. So here's a look at the actual temperature versus how it's going to feel to you. Here you see on Tuesday, a high of 99 is what we're forecasting, and that's going to make it feel like it's 103. And there may be some spots where it feels even hotter, like maybe up to around 107. On Wednesday, the forecast is for 97, maybe a couple of degrees lower. Also, the heat index is going to be around 99, so that won't be quite as bad, but still very hot out there. You have to take some precautions. On Thursday, we're forecasting a little lower temperature at about 93, and the heat index will be around 96. So we will see some improvements. Now, if you were with us last week and through the weekend, even this morning with Chesley, we were talking about the weather impact alert to be in effect for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We're now taking Thursday and Friday out of the alert, just because the temperatures seem to be trending down just a little bit more here for the end of the week. Still going to be hot, but just not to that threshold of having an 11 Alive weather impact alert here. So some improvement for the end of the week. But at the same time, we're talking about those improvements. We're also going to see the rain chances that are going to be coming back. More of that summertime pattern with the scattered showers that'll be developing here pretty much every day. Live radar right now, Not showing anything at all here in Metro Atlanta or in North Georgia. I'll put this into motion, and there are a couple little blips you can see up here in parts of Gilmer County and into Fannin County. We are also watching this over here in parts of Cleburne County. We had a little shower that developed there near Folsom and Randolph County, moved into the southern parts of Cleburne County in Alabama. That's all south of I-20. It's got a little thunder and lightning with it, but that's not moving toward us. It's actually pushing in this direction, really closer to Talladega or Riverside there along I-20 in Alabama. So that's all going to stay there. We don't have to worry about any of that moving into our area. In fact, here in the metro area, no rain here at all. Just a really nice night out there, although it is still very much on the mild side. And as you look around the southeast, there's nothing really major moving our way. You can kind of see that flow here. A lot of anything that's developing out there is pushing over toward the west. So we've got a little better cluster of showers and storms there in the southern parts of Alabama. A few more of those back into Mississippi, even one of those prompting a severe thunderstorm warning there between Jackson and New Orleans. That would be, let me get a little bit closer there to this area, to the west of Hattiesburg, south of Jackson, around Brookhaven, Mississippi, and north of Macomb, where we have this severe thunderstorm warning here. That's about to expire as the system's moved out of that. But of course, keeping an eye on that for the folks over in Mississippi. And then back into Alabama, a few of those showers near Monroeville in South Alabama, which is, north of Pensacola, well to the north of the Mobile area. But again, that's not pushing into our direction either. I want to show you our tower cam, and I'll put this on full screen. You know, this is my favorite tower cam. If you've been with me on any of these extended updates, I love showing this one, especially at this time. The sun went down around 8:51, 8:52, somewhere in that period there, but we still see some of the light on the horizon, a few of those clouds there on the horizon too. Just a beautiful color there on the horizon here from our tower cam at Arizona Avenue looking over toward the west. So a beautiful night out there, although it is still very mild, and we did make it up to 94 degrees for our high temperature today. That was not a record. The record for today's date is 99. Tomorrow's record is also 99. So today we're about 5 degrees away from that record, but still above average. 88 is the average high for this time of year. Look at that low. This morning we only got down to 76 degrees. And I'm thinking that's where we're going to be tomorrow morning too. Just a very mild start to the day. So when you wake up in the mornings and that is the coolest part of the day, but it's 76 degrees, you know those temperatures are going to have more time to rise even higher in the afternoon. And we do think we'll get up to 99 degrees there. No rain in our area today. Our surplus is starting to shrink a little bit. Remember when we had all that rain, we were about 1.5 inches or more above where we should be in rainfall for the year, but now we're about 9 tenths, 8.8 tenths below, or actually above where we should be in rainfall. And remember, that's when we had all the rain coming in. We had a few dry days at the beginning of the month, and then from the 4th to the 19th, we had rain almost every day except for on Father's Day when we were rain-free at Hartsfield-Jackson. But then after that, we've had dry days last Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and today. No measurable rain here. So that's given us an opportunity to dry out just a little bit more. But now we think we're going to be seeing a few more showers that are going to start developing here, especially for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, as we're going to go back to that pattern with more of those scattered showers that'll be moving into our direction. Take a look at these temperatures right now at the 9 o'clock hour. It's still warm out there. We're at 88 degrees. So here we are, this part of the evening where, again, the sun just went down a little while ago, and we'll start to see these temperatures trend down a little bit. But we're just a couple of degrees away from 90 here at the 9 o'clock hour. Outside the city, it is still warm in Marietta where it's 86. We've got some 85s in Canton and also in Gainesville. On the south side, Peachtree City has just gone down a bit to 80 degrees, and then lower 80s also in LaGrange and also in Thomaston. Athens even checking in at about 82 degrees. And this is how it feels to you. Again, even at the 9 o'clock hour, we're dealing with the heat index, feeling like it's 92 here, feeling like 91 in Marietta, feeling like 90 in Duluth and Canton. How about even Dalton right now, feeling like it's 96 degrees here at this late night hour. Now here's a look at the forecast track. These are not temperatures, these are actually the heat index values, or how it's going to feel to you as your body is going to have to work harder during the day tomorrow to cool itself down. It's going to feel like 103 here in Atlanta, as well as in Marietta and also Canton. 105 will be the heat index in Eatonton and LaGrange. Athens will be about 104. So we have a lot of areas in triple-digit heat index values, and that's why we have the 11 Alive weather impact alert in effect, and that's why the National Weather Service issued a heat advisory. And then going into Wednesday, heat index values around 101 here in Atlanta, potentially 104 in Duluth and Athens, potentially 105 in Covington, Dalton, maybe at 104 for a heat index. So another really warm day, hot day here on Wednesday. The thing that may help us out is going to be that we're going to have a better chance for some scattered showers to move in. If those showers move in at the heat of the day, then we could have some rain-cooled air, and we may not make it to these values if you're under one of those showers. But not everybody's going to be under one of those showers. So it's going to be kind of interesting to watch that going into Wednesday. And then on Thursday, again, the heat index values are going to be around 80 degrees once we get to around midnight. Here's a look at what the temperatures did today. Now, we did get down to 76 in between these hourlies right here. I know you see 77s there, but our low was actually 76 today. And look how the temperatures went up today to 91, and then we had a couple of clouds block out the sunshine. Thermometer went down a few degrees to 89 at 3, then back to 93 with sun coming out, and that high did make it up to 94 for a high today in between that hourly. And then now we're dry. We're going to start moving down a little bit. We're still holding, though, in the upper 80s. So here's what to expect for your Tuesday. That mild start, again, around 76 degrees, and then warming quickly, topping off at 99 in the afternoon. We still don't expect any showers. You know, we're just saying a less than 20% chance. There might be a couple of isolated showers that can pop up out there. But again, that rain chance is pretty much less than 20%. In fact, here's a look at the forecast track. You can see how tonight we're looking good. We're dry. It's just warm. In the morning, we're going to be dry. We'll have some sunshine. Also at lunchtime, still dry. In the afternoon, mainly dry. Models trying to show maybe just a couple of blips here and there. Again, that less than 20% chance you'll get hit by something. Then on Wednesday, it's still going to be another hot day. Maybe not as hot as on Tuesday. But here's what's coming back into our forecast going into Wednesday. You'll notice at lunchtime we have dry weather conditions, but beginning to see a couple little showers trying to develop with that heat and humidity. What's happening is the high pressure system that has been suppressing any development of those showers and storms bubbling up in the afternoon, well, that high is going to weaken, and with plenty of heat and then with more moisture coming in, that's going to allow additional showers to start bubbling up. And look at this. This is by 5 o'clock here on Wednesday afternoon, a better coverage of showers, especially over on the east side. And some of these could have some heavy rain with them, thunder and lightning, and maybe some gusty winds as well. So we're going to have to really keep an eye on those on Wednesday. A few more showers over here into parts of Alabama. And then during the evening, that would fade out. Then on Thursday, it's going to be another hot day, but not as hot as temperatures trend down a little bit into the lower 90s here. But we'll see a few scattered showers redeveloping on Thursday as well. We also are in a level 1 risk for the potential for a couple of stronger storms pushing through on Wednesday. Level 1 meaning, that's level 1 of 5. That's the lowest severe weather threat, but still the potential of some scattered storms that could develop, and a couple of those could turn strong there, with wind and heavy rain being the main threats. Now you can see that we have had dry air over the past few days, but notice these colors going from blue to the greens and yellows and even oranges through the period. And that's with that additional moisture that's going to be moving in, giving us a little better chance for some of those scattered showers to develop. And even going through the second half of the weekend, even more of this kind of more tropical moisture moving in, going into next week, that will increase our rain chances even just a little bit more there. So for right now, we expect to stay dry Tuesday, and then we've got that 40% chance for showers for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and also on your Saturday. So check out that 7-day outlook where, again, we no longer have that weather impact alert for Thursday and Friday. We've taken those days out because you see how those temperatures are trending below 95. And last week we were thinking that we would still be around 95, maybe 96 Thursday, Friday. So that's why those days are no longer in the 11 Alive weather impact alert. But I want you to know that we are still in that alert for Tuesday and Wednesday, high of 99 Tuesday, 97 on Wednesday, mainly dry Tuesday, but then look at Wednesday where there's a 40% chance for some scattered showers, a couple of storms possible, and then we hold on to that 40% chance for showers for Thursday and Friday. Temperatures trending down a few degrees, 93 here for Wednesday, actually Thursday, 92 for Friday. Holding in the lower 90s Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, but we also hold on to that 40% 50% chance for showers there for the weekend and also the beginning of next week. Thanks for watching this extended weather update here on 11 Alive Plus and Weather Impact 24/7. We'll have more for you throughout the day tomorrow as we have this 11 Alive Weather Impact Alert in effect.